Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tuesday, ladies. This is the Tuesday show. This is Tuesday. It's been my birthday's on Friday, so I'm celebrating all week. So if I confuse Monday with Tuesday, hey, look, my birthday is all week. So it's officially Friday, but it's all week. Listen, it's Tuesday night. You know what that means. It's one of my favorite nights of the year because this is UnSKripted with Dr. Chris Featherstone. That's who I am. This night is no different, ladies and gentlemen. I bring the biggest, the baddest, the best of today and yesteryear. This person is no different, ladies and gentlemen. He came as the Puerto Rican Nightmare, and he left as some type of Casanova person who had just striking good looks. He looks so good. He made Vickie Guerrero go away from him because he was greater than she was, as far as she dated up. A lot of times when people say that someone married up, with someone having greater looks or something like that. Vickie Guerrero is a very, very fine woman. Okay, very, very fine woman. But you know what? She dated up with this guy, man. He is the strikingly handsome, the quintessential, irresistible, ladies and gentlemen, former FCW heavyweight champion, Eric Escobar. How are you tonight, my man?
After that introduction, man, I feel great. How about you, man? Happy birthday in advance. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, man. It's great to have you on the show, my man. Good, man. What are you up to nowadays, man? It's been like 5 years since you wrestled, right?
Yeah, I retired in 2016. Nowadays, I work as a cop here in Texas.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, and thank you for protecting and serving the state of Texas, man.
Thank you. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we're not very well liked,
of course,
as far as media goes and all that. But there's a lot of people out there that still support us. I always try to make a difference.
Nice, man.
And we have a great group of guys, and all around we try to make a difference for everyone, so that way they don't feel like, hey, we're all bad guys.
For sure. Well, my PhD's in forensic psychology, so I work lockstep with policemen as far as what I'm going to do. Maybe eventually. Right now, I'm a psychotherapist, and I absolutely love it. I'm actually couple quarters away from getting my third master's in criminal justice with a specialization in behavioral sciences.
Of
So,
course, you're an overachiever.
so I'll be eventually. I think within the next 5 to 7 years, maybe. I think I just want to have it just to have it and just keep my options open. But I absolutely love what I do now. I'm a therapist. I'm a psychotherapist. So I provide therapy to multiple people a day, and I'm the guy who sits down on the chair and looks at the person on the couch. It's the quintessential chair and couch, and I've had people sit on my sofa across from me. I've had people lay on my sofa next to me.
God.
I'm the guy who listens to people's stuff, every day.
So is this gonna be like a session? Am I gonna end up crying?
This is going to be
this?
a therapy session, Eric Escobar.
What have you been up to after Vickie Guerrero dumped you? I don't know, man. I don't know what to do with my life.
So how do you really feel, Eric, about that breakup with Vickie Guerrero?
I don't know.
Are you still feeling trauma from that, Eric?
Yes, I do. Every single day.
Man, well, thank you for being a cop, man. Very interesting transition. What just before we get into the questions, man, like from pro wrestler to cop, like what caused that transition? What assisted that transition to go from wrestler to cop?
Well, after WWE, I kept wrestling. I went back to Puerto Rico. I kept wrestling over there, and well, sadly, in Puerto Rico, those days of making a living from pro wrestling are long gone. Mm-hmm. So you always had to get jobs on the side. So I was working security for Homeland Security, and the pay was just enough to cover the bills. Basically, I was like, man, I need something, and there was an ad for that they were going to come to Puerto Rico to recruit. Oh, nice. I was like, it went in tune with the whole security thing. It was a step up from the whole security thing, and I applied, and it was a long process. And I ended up getting it. And I mean, the wrestling always comes in handy when you have to deal with certain individuals and all that. And
give them a bell of the back, man.
No. But I have requested some folding chairs.
There you go.
The area, so just in case something happens.
Just in case, absolutely, yeah.
And
good stuff. So you were in Puerto Rico, and then you moved up to Texas for the job.
Yes, sir.
Very nice, man. Very nice. I've been to Puerto Rico one time to San Juan, the capital of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And it was just at the airport. I had a layover on my honeymoon in 2010. Okay. And it was supposed to go from Miami to the Virgin Islands. That's where we went, to Virgin Islands. So it was her second time on a plane, my very first time on a plane.
No,
so
wow.
I didn't know anything about the luggage system. I didn't know that when you put luggage, I'm in Columbus, Ohio. So when you go to the airport in Columbus, Ohio, that luggage goes from the beginning from the start to the destination, right?
Yep.
So I was thinking in my head, what must have been the layover, right? And so the layover was in Miami, and my wife, she didn't really know too much about it too. Because that was only her second time. So we were just scrummaging around, where's our luggage? Where's our luggage? And we was in Miami, where's our luggage? And they were like, dude, the luggage is in the Virgin Islands.
You'll see it when you get there.
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't know that. And by the time we figured it out, our flight was long gone, and we couldn't aboard it. And so thankfully we got something good out of it. And they were like, yeah, we'll just land you in Puerto Rico to go to the Virgin Islands. And so, hey, I can put that thumbtack on the map and say, I've been to Puerto Rico. So
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ready to dig into these questions, my man?
Let's do this.
All right. Let's start with Rito. Greetings from Mayagüez, Puerto Rico. How did name the Puerto Rican Nightmare come about in Deep South Wrestling? And what was it working with for a legend like Carlos Colon in the World Wrestling Council?
The Puerto Rican Nightmare character came from Bill DeMott.
Okay.
Bill DeMott, right off the bat, we hit it off. When I went to Deep South, I went for a tryout, and by Monday, the tryouts were Monday through Friday. By Monday, he told me, say, hey, if I have to make a decision right now, you have a job. I was like, that's pretty cool. But by Friday, he pulls me aside and said, hey, you want a job? And I'm like, sure. I mean, that was the main reason why I came here.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, just call the office and tell him you talk to me. So I started working the shows and all that. And out the blue, he started calling me the Puerto Rican Nightmare. I guess he was trying to go in tune with like the American Dream. God
Gotcha.
rest his soul, Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
trying to go in tune with that. American Dream, Puerto Rican Nightmare is coming to terrorize wrestling for everyone because that was my whole thing. He wanted me to be the most aggressive guy in the roster, and to a certain point, I was.
Yeah.
Um, because he had wrestled in Puerto Rico, so he knew how Puerto Ricans wrestle. He knows that we're very technically inclined, but the whole Latino temper, the intensity that we put in the hardcore matches that they had in Puerto Rico. So he wanted to
Mhm.
go in tune with that. And working for Carlos is was pretty great. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I got there, it was declining, or it was like steady, but it was
Mhm.
no peaks or valleys or anything. I learned a lot because Carlos still had that old school mentality of having like separate locker rooms and all that. So
Yeah. Love
you
it.
really had to learn how to work in the ring and how to like call your stuff in the ring and all that. There was no dancing.
Mhm.
Like sit down, let's go through this whole dance, let's put it out there, and that's it.
Yeah.
You really had to learn how to get the crowd going.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very interesting. And before we go to the next question, shout out to Michael from Lucha Libre Online, man. That guy's a super, super nice guy. I love working with him. He's one of the people that we work with a lot and bring people like you on the show. So big shout out to Michael from Lucha Libre Online, man.
Yeah.
You are the man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back to Royto, what did you enjoy the most about being involved in a storyline with Vickie Guerrero in
Uh,
WWE?
but first of all, I was a huge fan of Eddie, God rest his soul. So having to get to work with this widow, that was pretty amazing. That was a pretty good big deal for me.
Yeah,
Second, she was like the biggest heel of the company at
she
the time.
was. Excuse
And
me.
yeah, just with that one word,
Yeah,
excuse me, so obnoxious. Oh my God. Sometimes I was like, oh my God, this is obnoxious. But
yeah,
you have to love every second of it.
yeah.
Sorry about that. Um, yeah, I think working with Vicky was a great experience.
Mhm,
I wish we would have stuck the company would have stuck with it longer.
mhm,
Um, Sadly, there were some things that eventually we found out about him after my release from the company. Like 2 years after that, I found out a bunch of stuff that was going on as
mhm,
to why I was basically released from my contract.
mhm.
Uh,
Any to share? Any that you can share?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was basically they were setting me up to fail, basically.
Mm,
Um, the reason is there was a head writer uh, from, if I'm not mistaken, he was the head writer of Raw, which, obviously Vince has always been, hey, Raw is my baby. WWE is my baby, but Raw is my brainchild,
mhm,
and this is gonna be my flagship show. So whatever was going on in Raw was supposed to be the very best and the top.
mhm.
So this writer, he was a head writer for Raw for many years.
His last name starts with a G.
To be completely honest, I do not remember his
Okay.
last name.
Okay.
No, and I'm being serious about that. I don't remember
Gotcha.
his last name.
Gotcha.
But I found out in 2012. I got in contact with some of the writers from WWE, and they told me it's like, no, here the problem was he never liked you. So and so
Mm,
never liked you. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, no, he never liked you. He never wanted to do anything with you. Like all the ideas we pitched for you since you got hired, he would like, no, I don't want to do anything with that guy. No,
mm,
I don't want to do anything with that guy. Um, when I started in Deep South, within like a month, Bill told me, he said, hey, they're asking about you. I'm like, who? I thought he was ribbing me. I'm like, who? Oh, no, no, the writers are asking about you because I think it was around that time that Carlito had broken up with
Jesus.
Jesus,
Hmm.
and I think the idea was for me to replace Jesus.
Okay.
I guess I was gonna come in, beat up Jesus, take his place, and be Carlito's enforcer
Muscle.
for
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they wanted to go with that idea, and a lot of people were on board with it, but this one guy kept saying no, 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 no. I'm like, okay, no problem. And I always thought that there was something going on. That why was I being held in developmental for so long? Since they were asking about me within a month of me getting there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, something had to be going on, and few months went by, a few years went by, and eventually I got called up. By the time that I got called up, that person was no, he was still working with the company, but he was on, he had transitioned to something else. He was not the head writer anymore.
Gotcha.
So, and I think they set me up to fail because, okay, we're going to give me something great, but we're not going to really put a lot of thought, a lot of emphasis in it, and just let it. If he doesn't make it, if he doesn't hit out of the park like John Cena, The Rock, Austin, guys like that, then bye.
Hmm.
And that was it.
Really interesting. You know what's it's interesting that you say that because as a spectator back in the day, when because I remember you from FCW, and I remember how popular you were in FCW, and then when they called you to the main roster, I'm like, man, I thought you were DOA because it's really tough to be kind of fresh on the main roster to a lot of eyes and to out heat the biggest heat magnet in the whole company. It's like when I saw that, I was like, Vickie's taking all the shine. She's taking all the heat here. It's
Yeah,
like Escobar is not really doing anything. Like he's just there. Like Vickie's taking all the heat here, and that hurt Dolph Ziggler too. When she was with Dolph Ziggler, she overshadowed anybody she was with because she had so much heat.
yeah,
And what helped, the only person I think really helped was Edge because Edge was already at a really perennial spot at the time that she didn't take so much of Edge's heat. It was more of a compliment, but she was so over as a heel at that time that if you're bringing people to get like that, there's a lot of fresh eyes to like yourself and a lot, to an extent like Dolph Ziggler. To me, it didn't really help, y'all as really developing as heels because it really kind of overshadowed y'all how over she was as a heel.
If they would have set it up in a different way, um, like for example, there's something that I always thought about. If they would have set it up in a way to let me make an impact, I would have lost my first 4 or 5 matches.
Mm-hmm.
Just put me with whoever. I don't care if it was enhancement talent or not. Let me
Mm-hmm.
just go out there and beat the crap out of people. Let me
Yeah.
just beat the crap out of them and have the referee DQ me.
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe the fourth, fifth time I put my hands on the ref, and Teddy Long. We have this little segment backstage. Teddy Long comes out, talks to me and Vicky. You guys got to stop. You'll be fined like 10 grand. And Vicky, pulls out from like $20,000 from her purse,
Mm-hmm.
throws him at Teddy. He's like, "Why are you giving me 20?" He's like, "Yeah, for next time." Like
Very
she was
nice.
not there to play any games, and I was not there to play any games at all.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was just following her lead, and I was doing her bidding
Yeah.
until we get to that one point where she says, "Okay, now we're gonna start working our way."
Yeah.
And that's when I start like winning, getting wins,
Mm-hmm.
win after win. I think if you do that with any character right now, it'll be something completely different because everyone comes in, most of them come in to like, okay, we're gonna start winning a bunch of matches, and then they put them like some sort of storyline and whatnot. But if
Yeah.
you have someone that you have that plan already established, okay, this guy's gonna lose the first 5 matches, but he's gonna beat the crap out of everyone.
Yeah.
And then we put him with someone, let's say, a very well liked babyface.
Yeah.
And then you put him with that person, and let's say you put him with like a Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they doing right now, because of COVID and because I have not watched wrestling in the longest. But back when I was still there, Ray was one of the most loved baby faces.
Yeah. He's a tag team champion right now in SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
With his son.
Oh, with who?
His son, Dominic.
Oh, he's wrestling.
Yeah, yeah, he
Jesus
started.
Christ,
Yeah, yeah,
things have really changed.
yeah.
Wow,
He's tag team champ with his dad. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Congratulations to them.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so let's say you put me with him, and I beat the crap out of him. He manages to get that win,
Hmm.
but in the end, I get the upper hand because I beat the crap out of him.
Yep.
And now that you say his son is there, maybe his son comes out and they do like the old the now I'm going to steal that word from the quintessential
Yes. There you go.
Mexican save, which in Mexico they do this thing where the partners lay on top of their partners
Hmm.
to protect them, and they
Hmm.
take the all the chair shots and all that. They take them, and I think that's something pretty cool. It's like I'm laying my life on the line for you. My
Yeah.
career's on the line here because I'm protecting. You do something like that, come on, people are gonna get behind this guy. They're
Yeah.
gonna
That's getting
hate
heat, man.
the
Yeah.
crap out of me, and they're gonna get behind them.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and I would have, and I think that's a good idea. And if you were still with Vicky at that time, I think that Vicky shouldn't have done. She shouldn't do like the excuse me a lot because like that gets the heat. That just
yeah,
sucks all the heat, man. It's just,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's like I remember I've been there a bunch of times when Vickie Guerrero said that, and there were times where she literally had to scream to get her promo out
yeah,
and she kept saying, I said, excuse me. And like it was legit like thunderous heat in
yeah,
the room. And she
yep,
couldn't even get a word out edgewise. It was just, I mean, I look at that stuff and I'm an old school wrestling fan. I look at that stuff and I'm like, that right there, like that is as my good friend and show podcast partner now, Vince Russo, as he would say, nuclear heat, bro.
yep,
Nuclear heat, bro. Yeah,
yep,
and I think so, man. That would have been it would have been good that your storyline pitch. I think that would have been a lot very much better than what we saw.
yeah.
Guillermo's asking, was there any reason why WWE decided to change the SmackDown team of bragging rights in 2009? Because I thought it told a good story. SmackDown youngsters knew versus Raw veterans. It was always the plan on having Big Show betraying the Raw team, because if it was, I don't see on why change the team or not. By the way, I like the theme song that you use. Guillermo, shout out to Guillermo. He's here every single week asking questions. He gave us a dissertation this time, and shout out to him. So there's a lot in that. I'll keep it up for you to just kind of sift through and answer accordingly.
Um, the reason they told us, the reason they told us was Vince thought there was not enough star power, which it comes back to the whole. Oh, we only had Kane and Jericho, and it
Yeah.
was myself and Crime Time, right? Was it? No, it was it a 16, a 6-man team or?
Yeah, it's only been two bragging rights. That was such a terrible idea.
Okay,
I'll look
so I
over it. I
guess
think that was
no, I
2009
remember
one.
it was Dolph, myself, Crime Time, and Jericho and Kane.
All right, so
So the
it was a 2008
it was 2009.
because nine I'm looking right now, and it was Jericho, Smith, Finley, Kane, and Matt Hardy, Truth, and Tyson Kidd against Big Show, Cody, Swagger, Kofi, Henry, Michaels, and Triple H. Now you were supposed to be in it, and then like the SmackDown before or something like that, you got transferred out of it, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
apparently what they told us was that Vince thought for being the first bragging rights pay-per-view, Vince thought that there was not enough star power in our team, so
Because
he
wasn't
wanted
Tyler
to.
Rex supposed to be on y'all's team too? Then he went. Didn't he win the match? There was some
Uh,
qualifying match or something like that. I thought he was.
I like I said,
I think there was a few people that was supposed to be on their team, and
I
then
don't
it was,
remember much of it.
it was a complete shift. Like it was supposed to
Yeah,
be like a bunch of people that was already on there from SmackDown, and then like the SmackDown before or something. Like if I'm recalling my memory back in
yeah,
the day, on the SmackDown before, it was just like a complete shift to like a whole bunch of different other people. It was just weird to me.
yeah. So that's the reason they told us that not enough star power.
Uh,
But if you look at it, it's one of those things where, okay, if you don't think you have enough star power, maybe that's something different as opposed to
mhm.
having stars versus stars. Because fast forward a few years later, what did you do? Nexus.
True. True.
There was a lot of bunch of kids from NXT, which I have a funny story about that too. Bunch of kids from NXT invading the WWE. Granted, they had given them like a little bit of the spotlight when they were doing NXT,
Mm-hmm.
but there were still unknown guys to most of the WWE crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So isn't that the same thing? But
Interesting.
anyway.
Yeah.
And what
Very
was the
interesting.
second? Oh no, yeah, he said he liked the song. I like the song too, man. I think it was called La Crítica. I can't
Gotcha.
remember,
Gotcha.
something like that. I thought that was pretty cool too. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, a couple more. Leonard is asking, hey Eric, great to have you here. How's it facing John Morrison in your only title match on the main roster? Do you think Morrison deserves to win the world title during his ongoing run?
Uh, well, I don't know what he's doing nowadays, but yeah, I think Morrison is one of those guys that he has all the tools to be a top guy. There's a bunch of guys in the company that have the tools to be top guys, but
Mm-hmm.
it's what Dave Taylor told me one time.
Mm-hmm. Squire.
Anyone, yeah, anyone that knows what they doing in the ring, they deserve to be in the spot, in the main spot. They're ready to be there.
Mm-hmm.
They just need the right storyline. Because you can have great talent, but if you don't have a great storyline behind you, um, you're not gonna go anywhere. Look at
Correct.
Kofi. Kofi's one of the most underrated guys in that company. I mean, why did Kofi have like a few months title reign when he was so damn over? Beats the hell out of me.
And then
He
losing to Brock Lesnar in like 8 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, why did you do that? I
Yeah,
mean,
agreed.
out of them three, and this is not a shot on anyone. Out of them three, I think both Big E and Kofi should have been heavyweight champions, a few times by now.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against Xavier Woods. I think Xavier Woods, he's a great mouthpiece, and I think he's very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he has reached the level that Kofi and Big E have reached.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember the first time I saw Kofi in Deep South, uh, cutting promos and wrestling. I knew right then and there this kid is going to be a star.
Mm-hmm.
This kid is going to be huge. When I saw Big E and FCW, I will admit I didn't think, well, just another big guy like that. But then I started talking to him, and I knew there was something there. What was it? I mean, he had some charisma.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some potential. Um, but like I said, it's one of those things. It's how the company develops uh, that charisma, that potential, how they put their time and work in.
Yeah.
Because you guys you have guys that have gone through the system, and they get to the point where they can't do anything wrong because they earned that, and that happens in most cases. Like Taker, Kurt Angle,
Mm-hmm.
Sean, Eddie Guerrero, God rest his soul. Eddie Guerrero, to me, Eddie Guerrero is like the most complete wrestler ever. And there was a point that Eddie, he could do nothing wrong. I mean, he was the guy who was cheating, and he was getting the crowd going when he
Yeah.
cheated.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you cheated, oh man, you're a bad person, you
Yeah.
cheated.
Yeah.
But Ric Flair changed that whole perception. He made the bad guys be cool
Mm-hmm.
because they said, "Hey, listen, though. So this guy's coming out." And I'm just going with the example of Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair. Steamboat is coming out with wife and kids. Oh, look at this guy, so wholesome, so nice, so great. But then Ric Flair was coming out with his own group, his own posse, women everywhere, and of
Yeah.
course everybody's like, "I want to have a bunch of
Limousine
women."
riding,
You
jet
know what I'm saying?
flying, kiss stealing, willing dealing, son of a gun.
Exactly. Everybody wants to live the life. So that
Yes,
started
indeed.
blurring the lines between what's a heel and what's a face.
Yeah.
And then Stone Cold Steve Austin came in and he flipped the bird and he said Austin 316, and the whole world just changed again. Okay, now we have a different thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, the business keeps evolving to a certain point that, okay, what do people want now?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and some guys get to the point where they can't do no wrong in the ring.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, indeed. Couple quick ones here. What was the punishment storyline? Was the punishment storyline with Vickie Guerrero a result of any backstage heat in WWE, or was it just routine booking for an ongoing wrestler? I remember you were on there. You were on the main roster for like a hiccup, and then
Yeah.
they turned you babyface, and they just started putting you in handicap matches. I mean,
Yeah.
that was just weird to me.
Uh, to be completely honest, it comes back to like being set up to fail
Yeah.
type of thing. Because Vince has a lot. Vince makes up his mind about a lot of things. But like I said, if you're not going out there and knocking it out of the park, like John Cena, ruthless aggression, having uh, Austin 316. If you don't go out there, you have that moment.
Yeah.
You're just another guy. Are you gonna make money for Vince? I don't know. That's all
Mhm.
he pays attention to. However, he does have a group of people, like I said, like those writers that
Mhm.
they get in his ear, like, hey, this is not working. Let's just change it right away. And I agree. Because
Mhm.
he's paying attention, but he's not really paying attention to
Mhm.
those guys, unless he he gives you the blessing that, oh, this is the guy, like Drew McIntyre back in the day. When Drew
Mhm.
McIntyre first started, oh yeah, this is the future of the company.
Yep.
Eventually, he got released and all that. He went out and made his own path, and he made it all the way back to the top of the WWE. Happy for him. Drew is a great guy. We get along great. We still talk to this day, not like every day and not like we hanging out or anything like that, but we still talk to this day, and
Mhm.
he's always been pretty cool to me. I've always been pretty cool with him. Um, and yeah, Vince said, and eventually,
The
yeah,
chosen one.
it
Yeah.
came through.
Mhm.
But I think that's just going back to that whole setup to fail thing.
Yeah. Wow. Last question from Rito. If given the opportunity to return to wrestling, would you join AEW?
I was talking to Mike from Lucha Libre Online. I'm like, yeah, there's a conspiracy between all of you guys. You guys are trying to get me to go back to wrestling. Um, I quit wrestling because uh, my body was quitting on me. I have advanced arthritis on both knees
Oh wow.
and both shoulders. I still work out regularly and I'm still in pretty good shape and all that. Am I in wrestling shape? No. By the end of my career, it was taking me almost a month to be back, be without the least amount of pain possible for me to
Mhm.
have my next match.
Mhm.
And it was just becoming harder and harder. I was like, you know what? If I'm not making millions of dollars, uh, why am I gonna keep destroying my body
Yeah.
this way?
Yeah.
So
Good point.
I am always open to like not run a seminar by myself, but to be brought in as a part of a group of individuals to run a seminar for like a weekend or something like that. I'm always open to like if a company wants to bring me in, hey, we want you to like come in and manage this kid, maybe make a save, cool. But to actually wrestle a full time schedule matches, I can't do it
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Can't physically do
I'll
it.
be
Yeah.
limping. I limp just getting out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, you're too
Oh
young for
God,
that. You don't
yeah.
want that. Before we close, did you follow Bad Bunny's little short stint in WWE at all?
See, people ask me about that all the time. I have nothing against the kid and all that. I've heard his story and everything, and I saw some of it on YouTube. It's pretty cool what they did. I know why they did it. It was
It's cross branding.
yeah, it was cross branding, pandemic times.
Yeah,
They needed something to boost, the ratings and all that,
yeah.
and give the boost to the kid that they put him with. What was his name?
Damian Priest.
Damian Priest.
Hmm.
So I've heard he's Puerto Rican descent, or he's Puerto
Hmm.
Rican. I'm not sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so I get what the whole thing, why they did it. Um, I think it was pretty cool. I don't know if it was one of those situations that people felt like, oh, he's taking my spot or he's taking my money, because Vince will pay to whoever he wants to pay.
Yeah,
If he sees that you're going to make him money, yeah, of course he's going to pay you,
yeah,
but he's going to get something in return somehow. He's going to get something in return.
yeah.
Um, do I agree with the whole deal? Yeah. In the pandemic days, yeah.
Yeah.
Do I agree that they gave him the title, the 24/7 title? It's a haha title.
Yeah.
It's not like they gave him the heavyweight title.
Yeah.
Um, did the company make some money off of him? Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Did the company get a different exposure because of him? Yes, they did. So in a way, I think the company was using him more than than him using the company.
100%.
So
100%. Yeah,
yeah,
I've said on the post Raw show that,
yeah,
I mean, there was nothing that um other than living a childhood dream, there's nothing that Bad Bunny really needed WWE for. I mean,
yeah.
it's just, it's just a check on the checklist. He's way bigger than the WWE, like
That
by
is true.
leaps and bounds. You know what I mean? And so, it was just like, hey, I'm a mark. I want a WrestleMania spot. I want to fulfill a childhood dream. WWE's like, yeah, we could use your rep for sure. We'll just slap the 24/7 title on you and let you wear it on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I watched the match and he showed out. He was very impressive. I have no issue with any of the Bad Bunny stuff. I mean, in the
yeah,
very beginning, I was like, but business and then understanding, as an entrepreneur myself, understanding to get the rub from someone way bigger than you, and that person is more than willing to do it. It's
yeah.
business. I mean, it's good business.
You see, I mean, let's just look at the facts also. The guy does not need the money.
No.
So he's set for life.
Yep.
Uh, so he moves to Florida for like what, 6 months, was it
Yeah.
something like that?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
he
It
moves
was.
to Florida to
Yeah.
train every day.
Yep.
Dude, you don't need the money to do it. So you already have the money to pay your way to Florida
Yep.
so you can train and and do what you want to do. And
Yeah.
of course, and he looked, I mean, the few things that I saw, he looked phenomenal.
He did. He looked
He looked
good.
phenomenal at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
happy for him.
I agree.
Um,
I
do
agree.
do I agree with his music? No. Maybe when I was younger. Like
Yeah.
I said, but I mean, back in my day, that was like the thing, and I rocked to it and all that. Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. But I'm 41 now, and I was like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, what's
I've
going on
never
here?
listened to I've never listened to a full Bad Bunny song. I have no clue. I didn't even know who he was until WWE brought him in,
Yeah,
and I heard about Grammys and all these things, and
yeah,
I was like, okay, that's Bad Bunny. And I was like, I think it was like the Booker T song or something like that.
yeah. He
They
did
brought
something with like a Booker T song.
yeah,
I think it was pretty cool.
yeah, I agree. Good stuff, man. Cool times. Cool times working with you. It's good, cool times chatting with you, man. I hope you had a good time yourself, man.
Yeah, I did. I did. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me. And yeah, we can stay in touch through my Instagram if you want.
yeah. What's your
Um,
Instagram?
E Alexander 8712.
Okay, let me put that on there. Alexander 8712. So that's Alexander 8712.
That's correct.
Okay, let me put that on there for the fans out there. Alexander 8712.
And it's funny because I contacted Mike today and I'm like, hey, did you set something up? Or it's like, yeah, I told you. And I check all the messages. I'm like, oh, you didn't tell me anything. It's like, no, I'm sorry, dude. It's been set up. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. I took my days off from work because I worked for like 12 days straight
Oh
last
wow,
week and all that. And I'm taking my 3 days off this week, so I'll be good. I'll
very
be good
nice.
too. I'll be able to do it. Don't worry.
Good stuff, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I had a really good time, man. And
Thank you.
hey, this is actually, I think this is the if I'm not mistaken, this is the 1 year anniversary of this show.
Nice.
So I think this is
There
the
you go.
52nd week of this show, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go. Now you're
Uh,
gonna
you
get the
know,
lowest ratings ever.
no, that's not true. Vickie's not here to take all your heat, so you're good to go,
Vicky.
Eric, it's been a great time hanging out with you, man, and thanks for spending the 1 year anniversary with us, man.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you for having me.
All right, likewise. Bye bye.